Hello, family, and welcome to another episode of Role Model Experts Cafe. I'm your host, Dr. L, the Parent Whisperer, and today with me, I have an amazing man, Mr. Steve Feld. Did I say that right, Steve?
Yes.
Very cool. So thank you, Steve, for being here with us today. I know that you're busy and taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. I really appreciate it. Our audience members, welcome to the show today. Steve, please tell our audience members a little bit about yourself. Guys, I had a conversation with Steve and I thought that his insight, his information, and how he shows up in the world is really important for our audience members to hear about, and hopefully you can benefit from it. So without further ado, Steve, tell us about your background and how you got into doing what you do, and then we'll go from there.
Great. Well, thanks for having me. Absolutely. I mean, nowadays, I've owned and operated 7 different businesses. I've ran 3 others. And my passion just comes down to helping small business owners and entrepreneurs stop suffering from entrepreneurial depression and stop making running a business so hard. Believe me, I've been there, done it. But I've learned a lot of things along the way. And nowadays it's fun for me to start a business or help people. And that's where my passion lies, is seeing small business owners survive and thrive and build a long-term sustainable business, because it's not easy being out there all by yourself. And I get it. And that's why I'm here to help. And I'm fully vested into the small business owners in the community, because they are 97% of all businesses in the world are small business owners. Right. Without them, there is no economy. It'll crash. Right. Everyone thinks, oh, the big businesses will be fine. Where do you think the big businesses buy their parts and stuff? The little businesses.
Right. Absolutely. So we have a lot of parent entrepreneurs in our audience, in our target audience. And of course, this becomes really important because many of these small businesses that we're talking about include these parent entrepreneurs. And whereas you have big corporations with big budgets, small businesses, parent entrepreneurs, oftentimes they don't have budgets. So if they spend on something, if they focus on something, that literally is costing them time and money, which ultimately, if it doesn't give results, really affects their bottom line, their productivity, what kind of thing they can bring home. So tell us a little bit about why what you talk about is very important, aside from what I just mentioned.
Oh, no, I mean, I deal with primarily mom and pops. Right. So it's usually, both of them are in there, the right. primary and the spouse, and sometimes the kid, and that's their whole business right there. That's right. all it is. And it's one of those, like, if one person takes a vacation, guess what? The business is shut down. End of story. Because obviously you're not going to take off without your spouse and go on vacation. Maybe you will. But they do need to get a return on their investment. And that's where I see working with them, my greatest passion is how to get that work-life balance back. Because as a business owner, it's all go, go, go. It's 24/7. You're the business owner. When you're in there with a spouse or you're both working and maybe they have a job, guess what? It's still very difficult. You're still bringing your job home. End of story. And I want to see it to survive. So you get that work-life balance. I mean, the thing that kills me is when an entrepreneur is very proud that they haven't taken a vacation in 5 years. And I think that, what is that doing to your spouse, your family? Right. And then I hear the sad story and it's like, no, we're going to fix that right now. Because if we can't make your spouse happy, guess what? I bet it's making your business unhappy.
Right. I believe it was Robert Kiyosaki said the difference between an employee and somebody who is self-employed is that the self-employed person, they're their own boss. Yep. But oftentimes, when you're your own boss, you're a lot less forgiving to your employee than being yourself.
I joke about it. I've been my own boss for quite a long time. And I always go, man, my boss is tough on me. He makes me take vacations. He's making me take days off. He's rough.
Yeah, exactly. So, Steve, tell us a little bit. I know that work-life balance is a big issue on everybody's mind, especially with inflation and the dollar just going so far and everything. So what are some of the challenges that you typically see these small business owners face when they come to you? Things that are very common and repetitive when they come to you.
the first thing they always tell me is they want more revenue. I hear that all the time. And it's like, well, there's 2 steps ahead of revenue, and that's leads and conversion. Well, they don't see it like that. They think a sale is a sale, but how did they get to be the sale? So we need to really work on their lead generation. And a lot of times they don't know their target market. So they don't know what they don't know. So they're not messaging to their target market. And that's why their leads aren't coming in. And then they don't have any conversion strategies. They're winging it.
Right.
And then after that, it's like time. I hear this all the time. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. And it's like, well, you actually do. You're just focusing all your time on things that are non-revenue producing.
Right.
And once we break it down like that, then they realize how much time they're actually wasting.
Right. So it's they want sales and they don't have time.
Yeah. And they don't want, like you mentioned earlier, it's the return on that investment. What am I going to get on a return?
Right.
Well, they've probably tried Facebook ads or Google ads, and they always say it doesn't work. And it's like, well, actually, those ads do work. The problem is you're not giving the right message to your target market. So that's why it doesn't work. You're trying to be everything to everyone. I was using
that brings me to the next point, which is oftentimes when people kind of get in their own way or they come to you with a challenge, you kind of make them realize, make them aware that part of the solution requires them changing. Because if you do the same thing and you don't change, you get the same results, right? So naturally, the next part is, what are some of the challenges in people trying to change so that they can achieve those results?
I always come down to, like, there's a lot of kind of entrepreneurs out there, but if they're not willing to change and do some things that they think are different, because you got to think social media wasn't really popular 10, 15 years ago, right? It wasn't part of the small business owners marketing. Nowadays, it's a must.
Right.
And there's still business owners out there who refuse to change or try new things. Well, those are the ones that are dying. And we saw it in 2020. I had many business owners come to me freaking out, but they refused to pivot, change, alter the way they were doing business, and they're gone. They're in debt, they went bankrupt, they're gone. The ones that said, you know what, I got to do a leap of faith here and make the change, they're doing great. They're flying, and most of them had their best year in 2021.
Right.
So, and they did, and I work with restaurants even, and they still didn't have their doors open, and they had their best revenue and profit years ever was 2021.
That's awesome. We all want that. Despite the economy and what's going on with the world, we want that chart to keep going up, right? So what are some of your tips and suggestions for our audience members watching this that they can immediately put into action that they can utilize?
I mean, one of the things I learned definitely the hard way, because not all the businesses I owned are rainbows and unicorns. I do have the horror stories as well. My first business went right under my feet. On my third business, I was struggling really hard, just like all these entrepreneurs are. And it finally hit me over the head. I need to change and make changes in my business. And one thing I did was talk to a business coach within bringing them on. And I was very reluctant. Don't get me wrong, very reluctant. But 45 days later, my life was better. My business was better. I enjoyed everything a lot more. And it was, to me, they actually showed me, you're going to get a return on this investment. And I did.
Right.
And since that time, it's like, wait a minute, I even still have 2 coaches. But getting help doesn't need to be a business coach, a group of advisors, a mastermind group, someone who's going to give you honest, non-personal feedback, not criticizing you the way you look, but they're going to give you some help, not judge you and not put you down, but give you actually help and resources to help you grow your business. Being an entrepreneur, you're out there by yourself and you need someone to talk to.
Right.
So finding that confidant who's just going to guide and ask questions and help you, it's going to really change your life.
That is very valuable. That is huge. And of course, we are role model makers. So I always bring this back to the fact that if you are a parent, you want to make sure that your kids see how to reach out. You want your kids to know that there is support out there, that they don't have to figure everything out, that they can get out of their own head and seek support, have a support network, how to establish a support network, how to always make sure that you have a coach or somebody that can teach you something that is a different point of view, different thing that you're in your problem. A lot of times you don't see the bigger picture, and the coach can actually help you figure that out. So very, very
100%.
important point. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, entrepreneurs, we're so far in the forest, we don't see a tree.
Right.
We need someone to have them help us open our eyes to see the trees so we
Right.
can get through the forest.
Right. Exactly. Awesome. Any other tips?
Yeah. Another thing is like, I always tell business owners, like, who is your true target market? And if they say everyone, okay, it can't happen. I always disprove people right away. Just there's 3 questions and it's over with. But really know who you serve,
Right.
who buys your product and service. That's your target market. And really understand what their problems are, not yours, their problems are, and how you are solving them.
Right.
And a lot of times, most small business owners can't answer those 3 questions.
Right. That's another important point. I remember from my clinic days, also small business owners, right? We had physicians that were coming out of school, and of course, many of them are primary care doctors. So yes, they can treat a multitude of conditions, but like you can't put that as your label, because when somebody has symptoms, they're not looking for somebody who's good at everything. They're like, I have a headache. I need somebody who can help me with my headache. So they look for that, basically, that specific thing. And once they come into your office, then they see that, you're a great doctor. You can help with so many other things. But they come in for something specific, and you need to be able to convey that message to who you want to actually ultimately work with. So really important point there.
And I use that doctor analogy all the time. It's like, listen, you have a heart problem. Are you going to go see a podiatrist? Well, they're both doctors. No, one just specializes in cardiology. So why wouldn't you go to him versus the podiatrist? And it's
Right.
the same thing in your business. Know who you serve.
Right. Absolutely. Very cool. All right. Very good. Steve, I know that you've been doing this for a while, and you have a host of things that you offer and connect people with. So tell us a little bit about how people can connect with you, follow you, and benefit from your services.
Great. My website is bizcoachsteve.com. So it's just BIZ Coach Steve.
Awesome.
And then I also always give away like a free little book, and it's 8 simple strategies to grow your business without spending more money on marketing or advertising. So try to get that return on investment right away. I mean, it's a free book, and you're going to get a huge ROI on it.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I definitely will make sure that we go ahead and put that information in the chat box. Also, I encourage our audience members to look through the rest of the information that I'm going to put in the description box about how to follow you and ways for them to connect with you. Before we finish, Steve, do you have any final words of wisdom for our audience members?
I always offer, it's like, listen, 15-minute no sale consultation. It's not even a consultation, it's a chat. Because being a business owner, we're out there by ourselves. And I've had a lot of people take me up on this. It's now I'm just there to listen, not to judge, not to give you advice, not to fix 20 years of problems, but someone to talk to. So don't think you're doing it all by yourself. Don't get far down in the hole that you mentally, physically can't get out of. Just reach out, feel free, and just talk. You have someone to talk to that's on your side.
Right. That is really powerful to have that soundboard. I remember again from the consulting days that usually burnouts happen when you put in the effort and you don't get the results. So if you're that person, definitely take Steve up on that offer to have him as a soundboard, to go ahead and talk it out so that you can figure things out. And many times just mentioning this out loud helps you kind of move to a new place. And from there, hopefully you'll have a jumping or diving board to new results, and then go from there.
That's
So I
it.
appreciate you guys. If you haven't already done so, click subscribe so you get notified of the latest that comes in through the cafe, and benefit from our experts and the gifts and offers that they have for you. And again, thank you, Steve, for taking the time to be here with us today and share your wisdom. And we look forward to further collaborations and seeing you guys on our future episodes. Cheers.
Great. Thanks.